As the weather warms up, the competition heats up around the leisure leagues as they begin to open up their action. From Biñholiga to the Premier League, all the way to wiffle ball, we'll have you covered. Welcome back to the PS2 podcast. My name is Hayden, alongside Diego. Not only will we be covering all that and more, you have a special announcement for us.
Yes, sir. So we were started as a clothing company, and we have evolved now into this Binho platform. But sticking to our roots, we have created a product strictly for the Binho community and its most prominent players. This product right here, the tournament tote bag, is suited to carry a Binho board, one Binho board fully dressed up, made up, or two Binho boards broken down to fit all the accessories you might need. Board inside, customize the colors you want, pockets on the front and on the back for all your personal items. Phone, wallet, keys hang up on the back. You got some loops here, you got extra pens. But like I said, it holds a board that is fully dressed up and ready to play. So for anybody if you want to hit me up and you're just like, hey, let's go play some Binho, I have my bag. It's always ready to go, so I don't have to worry about filling up my box or setting my board or resetting anything. It's all ready to go. And when you order the bag, there will be the option for those who have a lot of league members to put in a little kit box to hold all your bands, pins, soccer balls, all your things that you might need. But I mean, this product is just it's a safety net and a helper for everybody, whether it's for people who host tournaments at breweries so that there's not a tower of boxes stacking up to the side. Everybody could just hang their bag up right behind your chair. Or in the film studios like ours, a bunch of boxes hanging up next to the camera equipment, and camera equipment is very expensive. You just want to make sure you have all the free space you can get. So a bag with a nice long strap to put it up on the coat hook right here on the side of this bookshelf or on the back of your chair, like I said earlier. It's just a perfect option to free up your hands when you're walking in. I walked in today with the coffee and my bag's over my shoulders. It just frees up my hands a little bit. And also for traveling, going out to tournaments, throw it right in your suitcase and it won't get scratched up. Scratch any of your shoes up, your clothes, any of that stuff. We travel with camera equipment, tripods, and all that stuff. So it definitely will mess up the turf, but with the bag, it's super thin where it won't add any additional space. They are made out of recycled denim. All the products that we make on 247 are made with recycled, upcycled products.
Waste nothing.
Waste nothing. Try to help save the earth as little as possible. Any material that is thrown away, but it's still perfectly good to use, we grab up and give it to you guys. So you can fill out a commission order form in the link in the description, or if you're seeing this on Instagram, just send us a DM and we'll get you hooked up the right way.
What are prices starting at?
They're starting at $100, and then additions, add-ons will be $25.
Customizations and stuff.
Customizations, correct. You could pick your team logo, you send it over, I'll print it out, and I'll do my best to do a little caricature type version of it. But we have a few versions of our PS2 logo. Just a simple one with the colors, and then this one right here that has the outline. And these are all hand-sewn patches, so that is why it is a little bit pricier. If you want to just order a patch and send it over to me, that'll be free of charge if you pay for it. And if not, whatever the cost of the patch is, we'll just add it onto the order, and I'll order through my Amazon account. But yeah, customizations to the fullest. It can be single color. It could be up to 4 colors on the outside, 2 colors on the inside. And very functional for tournament days. That's why it is the 247 tournament tote.
Yeah, getting into our Binho news, we brought one to the Long Island Binho tournament we attended on the 17th.
Yeah.
Which, shout out to the guys down there. Thank you guys for hosting. Brendan, one of the hosts, ended up taking it home.
Yeah.
It was a double elimination. He ended up losing that first finals game 7-6, but came back. A nice little comeback victory in that second game.
I mean, that's how you want to do it. If in a tournament where there's not as many people as the big majors, where it's a small 12 to 16, I feel like a double elimination style would get everybody. Because with the bigger tournaments, 30 plus people, you play a group stage so that you have a chance to play 4 games and lose 2 of them. and then still have a third game next.
Right.
But in a tournament where it's just a bracket style, March Madness style bracket, quarterfinals down to the semis, it's giving somebody a second loss ability and then playing again in that finals, and you have to beat them twice. Because if they're over there, that means they're still undefeated.
Yeah, and I appreciated that when we were out in Phoenix. They had that in that major.
Yeah.
And I look but it was a little different than this one in terms of we played the same opponent twice. We knew we had to get two. Was it aggregate score actually?
Yeah. It was every match in the Phoenix major. It was a 2-leg aggregate. So whoever finished with the highest.
Okay.
So it was.
And then if it was a tie, there was a one goal like golden goal moment, and then. But it was nice over here where you got like kind of like a replace.
Yeah. It's good because.
And I've seen a lot of the other leagues, clubs, just the guys hosting tournament throughout the nation using that same. I forget what the website's called, but that same website.
Yeah, for sure. I have a picture of it. Well, I was recording. I had my Sony with me. And I have a screen capture of the computer screen, so we'll be able to use that website when we get our tournaments rolling. But I mean, the tournament, it was a great $20 entry. It's very low price, and we saw a few newcomers, some people that got introduced to Binho out there in Boston at one of their events. They came out to Long Island and they played, and one of them actually went into the finals. Unfortunately, he didn't come out with the win, but I mean, that shows you that like you don't have to be in Binho for too long to get on a hot streak and win some games, because somebody that was 2 weekends into playing Binho and just bought a board went on to beat a bunch of people that have been playing for a few months.
And Drew's playing really, really well. He was a runner-up there, so, I mean, there were a lot of good, talented players just at, like you said, kind of an open, smaller tournament. So to see more people like that into a major, get the skill level will continue to increase just everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And they're doing tournaments once a month out there, so make sure you head over to the Instagram to see their stories when they announce their next date.
Every third Wednesday, I believe, they are at US Brews. Very nice location. I mentioned you this the other day. Be careful over there. The table we were playing on was a little slicker than I think the normal, just regular pop-up folding tables or anything like that.
Yeah, we were joking that they cleaned that table perfectly that day, and they polished the wood instead of just using a regular wood cleaner. They just polished the table.
And it was nice. It literally looked like a floor.
That establishment, it was great. They had a great beer selection. I'm not a drinker, but that wall was full to the top and to the left, so it was beers everywhere. They had a great like stadium style snack bar in the back, so it was a good vibe for a tournament going place. Like, there's sports on a bunch of TVs. They had a fireplace. It was a good vibe.
Yeah, and it was nice that all the games were on that same one table. So.
Yeah, that picture I took, it was pretty dope.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
It was a nice picture.
Very, very great tournament. Great to see some familiar faces like Chris and Eric from the other New York tournament we had been at. So, hope to see more tournaments in New York. More leagues pop up in the Northeast area and across the nation as well. But, speaking of which, moving across to the West Coast, you had Binho OC 3 days later on 4/20 with their top shelf tournament. And congratulations to Charles, continuing just to dominate.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely one of the best players. Shout out to Electric Binho on Instagram. Go follow him. Very, very great guy in the community. Great player. We met him out in Phoenix. And
they're definitely solid and committed, and we spoke on this the other day after I saw their Instagram. But their boards that they just got for that tournament, they had like 4 to 5 custom boards. Maybe I think they all got one because I believe Charles, he posted his was like the light and black one. So I guess they all made their own custom boards. And like we were saying, for the bags, if everybody in Orange County, if they have their own board, they all have their own bag. Charles doesn't need to coordinate bringing 10 boards. He just makes sure his 5 people bring their bag with their board inside of it, and they could host a smooth running tournament with at least 5 to 8 boards running. So that's the way they set up their custom boards. Is it looks like they all have their own. So I mean, hey, Orange County, hit us up. You guys get your own bag, get your own team logo, the full Orange County. But yeah, that customizing boards, they did a great job with those ones.
Those were beautiful. Love to see it. I can't wait to see maybe some games on there from us.
For sure, we
Maybe
definitely
go out
gotta,
there and play.
maybe a little crossover. We take a trip out there. They come over here or meet somewhere up in the middle. But I definitely want to try out their boards.
Well, maybe if they have a bag, they'll just travel to a tournament with it.
That's true. Let us know.
That'd be cool. I think it would be cool if you could enter if there was a check at when you check in.
Yeah.
Like check your board so you could use your board in the tournament.
Yeah, at a major, or it's since Nick they have so many boards, but they had They had a few of Sean's boards out there in the Phoenix Major. So I'm sure if somebody was like, "Yo, I brought my custom board. Check it to make sure everything's good. The pins, all the side walls are all even." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes one of the posts they can get a little bit shorter. Just make sure everything's regulated. The bottom pads are still there intact, so it's not wobbly. And I think that'll be a really cool thing to see. Some more other people's custom boards at league tournaments.
It would definitely avoid people just going home and adjusting and tinkering with their board to make it advantageable. I know. No, I can't play on that side. Why not? You don't want to flip the board, bro? What's up? What's up with you? But I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really cool.
I think that would be really awesome.
It would be really, and you'd see a lot of cool designs.
Yeah, I mean I think the design that they had, the Long Island Biñholiga, their blackboard with their logo in the middle, but the color that was brought to it was with the bands, the bright blue and then the pink gold. That was a great way to add some color and flair on the black custom.
For sure. And then we saw another league out west adopt the timer system. They've also not abandoned, they've just switched from first to 7 to highest score.
Yeah.
And they play first to 5 minutes, and that is the Binho Premier League. In the Binho Board HQ. You can check them out on Binho Board YouTube. 3 weeks in so far. Very, very action-packed. Let's just break down week 1 right now, which it was great to see it kick off. I was really surprised. I like how it was actually kind of they didn't tell anyone until right before the stream how it was all going to work, and then it was just cool to take it all in and then keep learning about it as we go.
Yeah, it was cool to watch because we had just wrapped up our Commentators Cup, so we had just gotten a good tournament going with the timer when anybody could score however many goals. There's not to 7, and then to see Nick and his other people that work in the warehouse, it was like, oh wow, this game not only our matches are entertaining in this format. It's like, no, Binho in this format is just a different level. The gameplay gives a different thought. Once it's tied after a certain minute, it's like, well, I still have 2 minutes left, and we're at 6. Next goal doesn't win the match.
Right.
So it was good adaptation to see of the game, and like you said, week 1 it brought the energy, and it's just kept going since. I mean, we saw the teams get off to a hot start, and they kind of stayed hot.
Yeah, and before, I know we were saying we were going to recap week 1 right here, but we will. But I was going to just comment and say, I think Binho has that same sort of, I guess, rule style and potential that chess has, in terms of where you can have the chessboard, the chess games where you play no timer and you're just there all day. You have time to think about each move, and in Binho you'd have time to think about each shot you want to take, right?
Yeah.
But when you have the timer, now you kind of you have to know what shots you're going to take in what situations. You need to know what moves you're going to make and what trades you're going to do when you're playing chess on a timer.
Right.
So
you're thinking of shots as your ball lands. So as soon as your shot lands and they're about to go, you're thinking of, if it lands on this side, I'm going this way. If it lands here in the middle, I'm going this way. If it lands here on my right, I'm going this way. So yeah, it's when you're playing on a timer, it is very premeditative thought process when it comes to your shot selection. The way chess is, where it's like, all right, I'm already into this style of game. I can't jump formats because then I'm going to mess myself up.
right. And then I just wanted to say that, just to clarify, we don't want to abolish the original style.
No, that style,
It
it
shouldn't
works.
be.
It works great at tournaments. In the Long Island tournament, it was
Even if you
working
just
great.
show up with someone and just you want to just play a game real quick?
Yeah, because there's some times where me and my brother will be at home and we'll play just the regular game to 7 goals, or it's like, we want to play a quick 3-game series. Let's throw in a timer just so we're not here for an hour, right? We're here for 7 minutes a game, So we're here for at least 30 minutes
That's
max
what
if
I'm
we
saying.
get
That's
into,
less than
all right,
that,
let's
yeah.
play more than 3 games. Let's go with a few more.
We had a red
Because
card right there. Hey,
We had a
we're
red
at,
card,
you know,
or
you
it's
know.
like, you know what? Like I said, instead of just playing, all right, I won 2 games, you won 1. Let's see if I could win 4 games and see if you could tie the series up. So then you just add 2 more games on, and it's not waiting 10, 20 minutes. It's like, nah, because that one game was slow. If a game ends 0-0, it's like, who cares? The 7 minutes has passed now. You don't have to be sitting here waiting to get the first goal in.
Yeah, and like you said, the competition and the entertainment is a little different. And that's what's cool about it. It's good to have differences in there. So I like it. But back to week 1, you had 2 fill-in matchups, which it's unfortunate. Didn't really get the. Sometimes you don't get the fill-in. I mean, sometimes you get the win. Sometimes you don't. Unfortunate. I believe Nick and his brother there, New York Nick, excuse me,
New York Nick,
and his brother,
fellow New Yorkers.
So Big Rizzle and Gun Club both, I believe, got 2 losses there to start the season, and then following it up, shout out to Jose Longlegs. This is the player to watch.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, everybody. I didn't know too much about Jose until the Premier League had started.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is like. I think this is the kid who's going to be one of the wild card ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was at
Come
the
playoff time.
at the Phoenix Major, but at the Phoenix Major, I was able to watch a few of the other Premier League players. That's when I got introduced to Joy and his game and how he plays after seeing him on social media a lot, and then the Ringer also. So, like you said, Jose Longlegs, I wasn't aware of him until the week 1, and then going on week 2 and 3, it's like, that team
each week he's continued to, I think, just like you're like he's stealing games,
stealing points
from points from clubs. It's only a step away, goal away now.
It's a Tropico City style. The way Hayden plays, and he just keeps the goal scoring low somehow. Hayden in our league is just like, how is this game just falling in your favor at the last minute? It's just, I don't know. It's just, some people, they get that lucky bounce at the last needed minute.
Because I was gonna say he opened up with week 1 he opened up with Postman, and he got he was just competing with him in game 2 there, and then to follow up, like you said, Joy, he plays well, but Creamy gave him a 1-1 time. So Ken is someone to look at there. He's not someone to sleep on.
No, he's definitely a great player.
But like you said, Joey just has a shooting clinic, and he followed. That 1-1 tie followed a 11-3 victory in their opening game. So Joey can just shoot the ball, and he's a sniper.
I mean, yeah,
sharpshooter.
Even later on, this wasn't week 1, but we saw him up against Nick, and he just put up goals out of nowhere. So yeah, like you said, in Binho, you get rapid fire. We saw it in Commentators Cup. Sammy, I did it, you did it, where it's like 2 minutes of gameplay and you put up 7 to 8 goals, and it's like, whoa, what happened? You get caught fire. And it's just, you find that groove, and somehow every ball that lands on your side of the field is in your money shot. So it's
but that is the standard for him.
Yeah, every time.
It's not even a question. So it's very entertaining to watch, and the fact that 11, in 5 minutes is crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a solid.
That's more than what 2 point 3 a minute or something. No,
some wild.
I think I got that math a little bit wrong, but about 2 point something a minute. Then to follow that up, week 2 you have Jose and Joy going at it, and you have another tie there, 5-5 tie. That was in the opening game, and then I think Joy's one of those players where you're putting all your energy into the first time you play him.
Yeah, you want to make sure you at least try to win the first game so he doesn't go into game 2 and just steamroll.
Because I feel like every time someone competes with him, their second, because they play 2 games back to back over in the Premier League, each matchup, like a series. The second game, Jose only had 7-1 there, so he got outshot and just wasn't able to keep up. So I think, like I said, it comes down into you're just dumping all you have into that first game.
Yeah.
Trying to run them, just steal one from them, and then you're just like, and he finds rhythm. That's the other thing.
Quickly.
So
don't give him a lane up the middle. They call it the platter over there, where you just serve it up on a platter. You just shoot it straight down down Broadway. But like you said, that's an everyday shot for him.
yeah, and Gun Club then made his official debut for his club, and he ties Bean.
Yeah,
with a 3-3 game.
But showing up big for New York on the live, you know.
Yeah, that was great, and to follow that up with a 6-4 upset, so gives Bean kind of like his first weak step back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it was good to see.
And you've been in that position before, where you've had to play the creator.
Oh, it's not easy.
And that's what I was gonna say. He ain't no like I made the game you guys play. He plays.
He plays, yeah. As he should, because it gives the community a step to look at what it looks like to be playing for such a long time. It's like, well, if you play for a few years, any shot you take, it'll look like you put no effort in every time you score. So it's a little bit of time. It was very hard. The first game I didn't even score, but the second time I played him, I'm pretty sure I got something in. So it was, hey. Shout out Gun Club, getting wins out there against the creator.
Would you say it's hard to keep your composure, like I was saying, kind of like when you have to play someone like Joy? Because that's someone in our league, I would say someone like Lawrence, I always treated like that. Like I always take serious. Going on will be Adrian.
Yeah, I mean...
Always got to take super serious.
I think you have to, like... If you play Spike Ball Creator and Spike Ball, you're probably going to be on your toes. You face the Blitzball guy in Blitzball, you might be on your toes. He might have a crazy pitch that nobody even knows that's not on video. So yeah, Nick, when he pulls out those shots, and you're just like, how do you do that? I didn't even know that was a shot. It's like, that's how I started shooting through the bands.
Right.
And then I've been scoring from them because I would just hit it through the side, but no, when it's right in between those last two pins on the left or the right, I saw him hit straight, and it went all the way. It didn't touch another pin, and it went into the goal. I was like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, that's how you do it. I was like, I mean, I know you can hit through the bands, but through the pins is a crazy shot.
That's risky
because
too.
Sometimes that's how you get an own goal also.
Yeah,
as if
or you just leave one.
You leave one straight there in the box, so yeah. But yeah, it's like you said, you have to play on your toes, but you also have to be looking out, ready to learn something that you haven't seen yet.
No, that's a fact. And like you said, I think the game evolving around that will be good because, like you said, if Nick can show the model, this is a great place where he can kind of display some of those moves.
Yeah, because it's not not like a full approval of like, oh, we did, but it's like, yo, this is a full entertaining way to see Binho on YouTube and on Instagram for people watching a live stream. Just so you know, like if you tune in and it says, you know, it's a 5-minute game and you see the clock and it's on 2 minutes and you're about to go somewhere, I'm going to just hang around for 2.5 more minutes instead of just not knowing how long the game's going to go in that sense. So I think for social media, it's great to have a timer for tournaments like we were saying. I think it's good to have the 7 goals so that the goal differential in a group stage of a tournament doesn't get too crazy.
Yeah.
You know, because that would get kind of out of hand. if kind of Sean put up like a 25 goal differential in the group stage, you know, and he leaves.
Yeah, the more time you give someone like Sean or even Charles,
Nick, you know, because
they're gonna score. They're gonna score.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a great point. That is a great point. And another matchup they're following in week 2, I think, to point out was Postman was able to tie Ringer after a 3-1 loss to him. He was able to get a 5-5 tie, and I thought he was going to steal the game.
Yeah. I mean, just walking away, though, with the point after you, like I said before, after you take your loss to somebody in the first leg and then you go home or you switch fields, and then they just need to hold you to the same thing, and then they get all 6 points from the day, that's brutal. So to at least walk away with 1 and hold them to 4, I guess that's you stole 2 points from your opponent, but yeah, almost looking like he was going to take it. Some shots just fall to the right or left of the goal, but
yeah, and I think the Ringer is just another one of those opponents where he's going to be higher in the standings for sure. Whether it falls like us into the middle, but he's consistent in the warehouse. He plays all the time. He's going to be a competitor come playoff time.
For sure. Shout out to you, man.
And then opening up week 3, you had that intense matchup between Joy and Nick. You finally got to see like what that brings, and then the odds of just getting so many cards like that. I feel for Nick when you lose the coin flip, and then that's the moment where it's like, well, great. This guy's got a he gets to choose what pin I'm losing. Like I'm not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, no, like you said, the number of cards, it wasn't just one team. They both had a number of cards. They each had a red card. They each had multiple yellows. So it was, but Joy was able to just capitalize and hit those shots. Nick wasn't able to call the right color on the coin flips sometimes, and I think that's the hardest part and the most like the gut punches. Like, damn, it just came down to this red or yellow, and I know I'm gonna hit my shot because if I move this pin, it's a goal. But if it lands yellow, then I don't know how I'm going to take this shot depending on how he moves the pins.
No, that's a fact. And you saw Joy moving back way on the red card too. So he knows his skill.
Yeah.
He knows his ability. It's week 3. He's showing off to the creator and the boss there and there.
Yeah, I mean, every time you can beat your boss in anything, whether it's like a pickup game of basketball or pool, when people go out to the bars with their coworkers and they play their boss in pool and they beat them, that's just a little bragging rights you have until next Friday.
Yeah, and then Bean was able to follow up, though, get a point in that next game. A great 5-5 tie, and he was shooting. He was back in that. No cards, fresh reset. And that's what I like about being able to play 2 games, I guess, each week there.
Yeah, I think that's a good touch because it's for somebody on Nick's side where you lost a tough match 9-2. After taking a handful of cards, you won some redemption. You won a point on the day for something. So, yeah, to walk away with 1. And like I said, to take 2 from your opponent on their second game after feeling good, putting up 9, which, like, hey, the over 7, it showed up twice in week 3 with 2 games hitting the 9 goal mark. But, I mean, I don't know. That was big time. Joy not dropping any points at all this season, walking away with at least 1, is putting on some club shiesty stuff right now. Whereas, or even you, I say that's more your front because
just a continuous ties.
A
like
win
last
or a
season?
tie,
Yeah.
a win or a tie. I mean, you finished with 9 points last year, but you only had 2 wins.
Yeah, it's 2-0-3. Well, 2-3-0 depending on we do it. Wins, loss, draw. There's this wins, draw, loss. Like every other soccer league where whatever differences. It's all right. No, I agree though. I think Joy is going to be on either one. Though. If he runs away with these next couple weeks, he'll be on that club shiesty status in terms of undefeated, never lost. In the league.
Mean, I would say keep your eye out for the ringer though. He played 2 less matches and only 2 points behind. It's looking like that Manchester City Arsenal race where you got 2 games in hand and only need 2 wins to pull it out. So, I mean, it's looking good over there and out there in Phoenix. But that second match, we had another stand-in game where we had 2 players out. Our New York guys, they were not in the office on Friday. I'm guessing they do any events because they do run the booth at a lot of events with Nick. So I guess any local events that they could just do themselves. It seems like they do that.
Yeah, I think they were at the AZE. Was it campgrounds or something there?
Some soccer community stuff. They were out there again yesterday. But
excuse me if that.
Yeah,
was
but
botched.
the stand-in, like
I
you
did
were
not
saying,
get that right at all.
Like you were saying though, for their week 1, you get a stand-in and you might not get wins, but the Big Rizzo got his first two wins of the year not being present. His stand-in was able to just dominate and get 2 wins. He was kind of like, the way I was watching, it kind of seemed like he was playing them and they didn't know if he was going to be able to win because he was the older guy in the room. You know what I mean? Kind of, I don't know who he is to anybody in the office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he works for a company nearby, and they know him pretty well. And he's came in on Game of the Day.
Yeah, because
I believe both of those.
Because he wasn't too familiar with the rules, but he knew how to play, and he was very good. And they were friendly, like they knew who he was, and they were friends. Mm-hmm. So, but like you said, those stand-ins they could pull out really big for you, or they can mess you up. But this week, the Gun Club unfortunately walked home with none, and the Big Rizzo took home 6 points with a 5-4 and a 6-3 win. I mean, that was just pace and energy just on that one side the whole time.
No, that's a fact. I think I think it's funny because that was supposed to be like the brothers' battle
Yeah.
of Binho Premier League.
Or
And
it was just the rematch of the New York matchup, the game of the day. The New York matchup. Remember the game of the day a few weeks ago once they first got in office? It was going to be that first game of the New York matchup in the regular season, but they didn't get it.
Nah, they didn't get it. It was cool. It was cool. You got two really great games out of it, though, either way. So, like we said, sometimes you get some villains that perform for you. Sometimes you don't. Big Rizzle getting, 6 points out of that. Yeah.
6 points, his first 6 points on the year. I think those are my favorite games of the day. Outside of that first one, I think that first one with all the cards, I think you just like to see all the rules of Binho come out. You know, there's cards for a reason because there's penalties. You know, and I like the way that they implemented their extra time where a card is 15 seconds, so there was a bunch of cards, so there was about a minute and a half of stoppage time.
Right.
We do that same but it's very loose. We don't have the exact 15. Sometimes we don't have a card, but the game kind of slowed down a lot. So we're just like, let's just add 30 seconds to see if they can pick up this pace again and do that. So it's good to see all the stoppage time goals in all leagues come through, and it's very fun.
Yeah, stoppage time, I think, is really where you get just like a really crunch time shots. Everyone's shooting, and it's usually very high pace.
Yeah.
So, very nice to see over there in the Prem as well. And Creamy and Ringer, they will have their matchup postponed as Creamy was on day-to-day listed with a migraine. But he'll be off IR.
GG's get better soon, homie. The Ringer's looking to stay undefeated, so...
I definitely feel that. Sometimes you just need... It's just like, my head is killing
Especially they film on Friday, so after a long, hard week of work and stuff, they do a lot out there in Arizona. It's hot. It's getting hot. It was about mid-80s this week out there, so I'm sure your body is getting used to it now. So hopefully we see Creamy kind of come back and dominate. Is he still top half of the league? Well, just under.
He's right there in 5th right now. 2-1-1 with 7 points. We'll take you through the standings real quick. To top the league, you have Joy, 3-3-0, 12 points. He's also leading the league in scoring with 37 goals. So you get to see that no first to 7 rule. The highest score come into play. So I think it's interesting to see the variation between those top couple scores because in second place you have Ringer, who's actually third in scoring with 28 goals, but he's 3-1-0 with 10 points. And in third place you have Bean, who's 2-2-2, 8 points, second in scoring with 35 goals. So you see Bean and Joy score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And maybe, like you said, Ringer's getting like that Hayden type style play.
Style. I was gonna say their top 3 is very similar to how our 2, 3, and 4 were sitting last year, or like our top because Lawrence was top of the league, leading in goals, but then you were down in 4th or 5th, second in goals for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then my brother came back and then he finished the league second in goals and in place, but you were 5th in the league, but still 3rd in all scoring categories. So with the timer, instead of just having every game finished when somebody scores 7, it allows somebody to have an imperfect record but still dominate because you were able to score 5, but it was a 5-5 tie.
Yeah, and take Adrian of the Filipinos from our league, for example, who I believe he was like 4th or 5th in scoring last season, but ended up winning it all come playoff time. So don't count people out who have the low scoring games either.
For sure. You might be able to hold your opponent. You might have the lowest scoring goals, but you might also have the lowest scored against average. So you might give up 3 goals a game but only score 4. And everybody else scores 5 goals or 7 goals but gives up 5 or 6.
And then on that one game they play you, that's what brings their average down a little bit.
Yeah. So it's that happened with Hayden a lot, and we saw it happen. I think Sammy, his goal differential got so close to Lawrence because when Hayden beat Lawrence, he held them to not getting to that 7 mark. So it was a good pace to play and to see on their league because it's 2 minutes shorter than ours because they do have 2 legs, and it's a live stream and they're on Friday, so they want to get home. You know what I mean? We do our Sunday afternoon where we're watching football or we're watching baseball, whichever's on the TV. It's just different energy, different time of day, but it's still the goal scoring is still coming out super hot.
Now, I would also remind everybody that Ringer is 2 games behind in terms of matchups because he didn't get to play this week. So if he puts up 2 wins against Creamy, or he did, if they had played this week, that puts him in first with 16.
16 points.
Even a win puts him in first.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They split their series.
Yeah. So.
And then if they draw both games, that ties. So that he's not just in second right there. He has that jump ability. So then I was going to say, following up being in third is Jose Longlegs in the 4th spot. He's tied for third. Excuse me. Oh, I saw him with 8 points. So he's also 2-2, tied with Bean.
He's in 4th because of goals scored. Bean obviously second in goals puts him higher up on and better goal differential keeps him there up in 3rd place.
Yeah, that's true. Because then following Jose is Creamy in 5th with 7 points, who's also in a similar spot as Ringer, where if he had played this week and won, he'd have 13. He would have 13 points. That jumps him to first.
Yeah.
So the ladder is real tight.
He still has way to jump in front of Jose and Nick, aka Team Bean. So
he can jump in front of everybody.
There's 2 teams that could really get
if he sweeps Ringer.
Yeah. So that's why the style of having everybody play, or not even having everybody play, just don't start your 4th or 5th match until these guys have played their, and that's how we do it. We tried to do it, but then it's like, all right, well, kind of, we're at a point where these 2 teams need to play these 2 teams, and then this team needs to play that team. That's it.
Just comes down to scheduling.
It just comes down to scheduling and who's available once they get down to like the last 5 games of the year.
Yeah. Once you're getting down to everyone's last 2-3 games, it's like, all right, we just got to find the days those matchups are available. When can you guys play? Yeah,
so I'm sure we'll see the same thing come from them once they all even out their schedule. But all they need to do is just Ringer and Creamy they just start the live stream and just play the last of week 3.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good way to do it, and
because then they could just end the stream. That way they're not playing back to back.
As I say, following Creamy, who's in 5th, you have the big Rizzle, who got his first 2 wins, who has 6 points now, sitting in the 6th spot. The Postman follows him in 7th, who is 1, 2, and 3 with 5 points. And then you got Gun Club with 4 points, who's 1, 1, and 4. So 3 weeks of play. I believe that they're going like 12 or 13 in the playoffs. And we're going to see lots of matchups. I'm sure there will be more fill-ins throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Year, season, whatever. I say year 2, but we do seasons multiple times a year.
Yeah, it gets complicated once you get a second season and halfway through the year.
Yeah, and then following that up, though, we had just gotten through our preseason, and I'm sure a lot of you have been watching that. If you haven't, you can stream those on YouTube if you're listening to this, on any of your podcast platforms. If not, go ahead, subscribe if you're not already here. And you can watch all those games in the Commentator Cup number 2 playlist. Yep, we had a Commentator Cup last preseason. You can check that out. And congratulations to you, though, my friend. You took it home this season. Big win.
Yeah.
Phenomenal performance. And that's your first piece of hardware, excuse me. Yeah?
Yeah, my first Biñholiga hardware, my first Binho hardware. I mean, it was good. The rebrand, I guess it was needed. I needed a new identity. I guess I was too stoned playing these Binho matches. I needed a different way to come at it. So
yeah,
the new logo, it got good energy, and like we said, there was a few new rules. We saw my new home field. I switched fields after playing on the black turf at the New York tournament and down in Phoenix. I was like, you know what? I need this fast pace. The way that I play, I don't really use the pop shot as much as others, so I don't really need a green board to get that backspin needed. So I think that's what really helped my play during this tournament. Just put up numbers. I mean, I put up fucking 20 over a 2-game span, which was awesome.
Yeah, you had you almost broke the consecutive shots record.
So close.
And just shooting well, very, very well.
Yeah, just some A lot of practice. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm hoping
A few tournament appearances really helps though, because it's like I said, it just playing different players, and then it just loosens your thought up. You don't get stagnant in how you play.
Right, and I was gonna say, I hope that does translate to your play come season time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we get to see another, like we have in the Binho Premier League, we had last season a very tight ladder where 7 could become 1, or 7 could become 3, and then they win again. They're number 1. So
yeah,
it's a very very tight race.
And now tiebreakers might be obsolete with this new goal scoring records that we might see here in Biñholiga. I don't know. Lawrence's 40-something last year was very impressive, but I think this year, with the new additions, I think we're gonna see. I don't know. I think we might see a team break 100 points.
Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, we are gonna have a lot of games this season.
I could see 100 points.
We have a lot of changes, new additions, more announcements to come, but just what we saw in preseason. I mean, I also wanted to say I thought it was cool that the matchups kind of worked out based on. We drew them randomly the day we were playing because we didn't know who was gonna show up to film, so we'll just do a second commentator cup, and it worked out where 1 versus 4, and then 2 played 3 on the other side.
Yeah, so. It was just resetting the bracket from last year on how it finished, and I guess you gotta come out in the bottom of the first championship to win the second, because I did not get to win last Commentators Cup, and then this one I played out really good, and so did you. I mean, you had a very entertaining match 1 versus Shane. I mean, you put up a full game's worth of goals in stoppage time. So, like, that lifting of 7, it's not just entertaining because the number of goals that could score, but just how long the games can continue after, because you hit your 7th goal at the 4.5 minute in that game 1, and then the game was a 7-8 when the games would finish.
Yeah. So
you had an 8-7 lead, and then there was 90 seconds, and then you put up 7 more.
Yeah.
So you put up almost 3 games worth of goals within like 1.5 games.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I do appreciate you pointing that out. The words there. I do think come season time it'll be. You're gonna have a lot more teams doing that too. I think Lawrence is gonna be a team who's gonna be the Club Shiesty, and Lawrence is gonna be the guy scoring those goals for that team. Your brother is gonna be someone to look out for. I mean, his first game wasn't anything to sleep on.
No.
8-7 victory, but to follow it up, he had 9 in the 13-9 loss. So
yeah.
20-17 on aggregate doesn't look bad.
You put up 17 points and you still lose. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's cool. The rules were cool to see in demo also during the preseason. Doubles was fun, I thought, in the finals.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see the sides of the brackets actually kind of play each other almost.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Shane and I both kind of just we had a terrible game. Only 1 goal from the both of us.
Yeah, I mean I was telling you it's kind of ironic how the one game in the tournament that had 4 players was the lowest scoring game.
Yeah.
We had a 7-8 finish, 8-15, 13-9, and a 7-4, and then the doubles game was a 7-1.
Right.
It was like what? But it was just because the 4 of us that were playing, we are the ones that usually commentate and keep the action going. So it was kind of awkward at first. We didn't know if we should be talking about anything or if we should just play and just call the game as we're going or try to broadcast at the same time.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of weird. I think next time if we have just one extra body in there, one of us will be able to commentate, and then it'll be a smooth sailing game like normal. And then it might be a 18 scoring game, you know what I mean, instead of just an 8-goal game.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw that in the Binho Bowl, but we were playing the New York style rules, and we wanted to make our own style, kind of, reminiscent of the original rule book.
Yeah,
just board.
So once we get our guys playing these games, that's not too separate from the rules that they're already following.
Yeah, and I do think I do agree with the fact that when you play alternating shots team to team, meaning each time the ball comes to a complete stop, a new team is shooting. That shot is way more valuable now.
Yeah, well, when you play pool doubles, you alternate shots. I've never played a pool doubles where we shoot back to back. So
That's a good point.
Binho doubles. It's the way they said, like the company Binho, the way they set up their doubles was pool style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But New York, they set up kind of like an actual soccer game where, all right, we're on the same team. I'm gonna set you up at the pass, and then you could score. So then I get an assist, you get the goal. So that's why I think it's really cool that somebody could walk away with the tournament with maybe 2 goals scored, but they had 15 assists because they took the first shots most of the time. So
I do enjoy both, and like I said, I like to see more.
And I really love the assist style. I led me and Lawrence with assist in that tournament where we lost to you and Sean. So I'm not hating on that rule. That was probably my favorite.
Not at all.
My favorite
I love
doubles
it.
rule. Yeah,
I love it, but I do. I did think that for us, we wanted something a little more, something where we could blend with our singles easily, and that's something we came into with. We released our rules video not too long ago on our YouTube page, and we're going to be sticking to all of them essentially, but we made some minor adjustments like our takeover during that doubles, which allows us to kind of have a possession where we go into that New York style where we can go to a coin flip. If it's my possession, let's say it was just, we're in the finals again, Diego and Sammy against Shane and I I had that possession where I called it, I won, so now Shane and I can both shoot back to back. And if not, if I lose the coin flip, you guys get the possession, and it's normal. It's not. They don't get to shoot back to back. They just pick it up from
continue
there.
to play.
It's a turnover right there. So it's cool to see. We adjusted it so there isn't any confusion on like the back end. We had a lot written towards it, but you have to use it now before the 7-minute mark, which that means probably both teams will use it once.
Yeah. So for that, just you can't save your takeover for stoppage time and just nuke that there. You have to use it in regulation just to make the game smooth sailing.
Yeah, either use it to tie the game quickly, like we cannot go behind against this team. They're too good, or
just
let's go ahead.
Boost up. Yeah, you see, all right, we already have a 5-goal lead. We got 2 minutes left in the game. Let's go up 6 goals and then see if they can put up 6 in the last minute and a half.
I think it'd be interesting to see if someone use it on like the first possession of the game.
That'd be interesting.
Imagine there's no loss to calling it
to make sure you get on the board.
Yeah, but even if you lose the coin flip now, okay, you pick off then. Whatever.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if that's that bad of an idea.
You got some of your teammates. I'm not doing that.
I might have to experiment with that at least once this season. I mean, we have a long season as well, but the other rule tweak we made is actually a league rule to our format, is that the Biñholiga title winner, who is the winner of the regular season, will get to select out of the 1 through 8 which opponent they want to choose. I mean, they want to face in the first round.
Yeah, so instead of having our title go up against the last team in the league, you can, if they want to choose that team, because they want to pick a team that's proven to have the least amount of points.
Just don't choose anyone. It'll default to 1.
Yeah, or 8. It's like we were saying, it's you want to just, for my example, if I wanted to just I wanted to just play Hayden early just so I don't have to play him later on. We don't have to worry about 2 commentators playing in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just, one of us gets knocked out now. You know what I mean? That will be like the kind of the scenario where it's like, all right, bet I finished first. He's not the last place team. He's in the middle of the pack. He's a very solid team this year. But for the long-term run, one of us has to go now.
I feel like if Sammy wins the Biñholiga title, he's going to be like, let me play Diego. Even if you're in second, he'd be like, let me get Diego.
No, last year we were kind of tight that we were on the same side of the bracket because we were like, it would have been cool if we could get to the finals.
That would be a great final story.
That would be awesome.
That would be a great final story. No, I agree.
The title's coming home.
I could also just see a team picking their biggest rival. That's what I was kind of using playing out with that. But no, that would be cool to see also. So I think it's also just cool to see it like an actual reward, like that's usable in like the league for the title winner. You know, and I think this is something my pops always complains about in at least the NHL, where he's like, we're a Ranger fans, so he's like, there's no value in being the President's winner in the playoffs. But then I told him, I was like, what if you got to choose like your first round opponent out of all the opponents? He was like, oh, that'd be awesome. He was like, I would not. Then he came up with like 3 different matchups on who he would not want to knock out first if he was the Rangers GM or coach. There was the Islanders was one of them for sure. He was like, we'll definitely do that, and then he was like, maybe we'll do Florida, or then he was getting antsy with Boston.
I was gonna say, you have to pick your battle wisely, because you pick them and they'd be like, all right, this ass, he picked me, let's go kill him.
I think it's also
and then you get killed picking your opponent, and you're just like, why'd you pick that guy? You made him angry.
that's the thing.
He would have been smooth sailing running into him later next round, but you picked him. Now you made him mad early.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You need for him to be mad now.
Get a huge upset early would be crazy.
So a wild card round. I don't know why he's mad.
For example, though, the way the rest of the matchups would work out is if Diego had won the title and he elected to choose me, who was, let's say, the 4th seed, everyone who was ranked 5 through 8 would move up 1, and I would go to the 8th seed, essentially. So that way, all the matchups would just work out 2, 7, 3.
Yeah.
I would technically be the default 8 seed.
Yeah, just for standings. But regular season stats, those, like, the regular season placings, those finalize, and those are the final. That doesn't, like, whatever it says in the bracket, like, that's just bracket placement.
Yeah, exactly. It's a selected thing. It'll probably still say what seed you are.
Yeah.
It'll just, the matchups will work differently because you got to choose. So, but that's how we will adjust the matchups around that. And then the other thing is with our doubles style, and if you want to come feature in a game, hit the link in the description, fill out the form. We have each month we'll update which days we're expecting to be filming, so just let us know if you're in town or what days you'll be available, and we will contact you however you list it. So aside from that, though, let's go back to preseason finals. It was Shane and I versus you and Sammy. It ended 7-1. I had a goal. You had 4 or 3?
I had 2 or 3 goals. My brother, he was dominating.
All right, so let's just say you had 3 and he had 4 for the sake of it, right? So now, let's say that's a regular season game now. It would be BC Fomentas and Real MC playing Cujos United and Baked Binhos. That's 2 matchups in one game, right?
So that counts as my game versus you and my game versus Shane.
Yes. And, yeah, all around. And on top of that, you would get plus 4 goals, or did I say plus 3 because you scored 3. And then Sammy would get plus 4, and I would get plus 1 because I scored 1. And then Shane would get the 0 because he didn't score that game.
I think.
But so then the other way it works now is even if it's you and a feature, like you bring a partner in and it's just your team versus Shane and I, it's your 2 matchups and our 2 matchups still.
You know what I think? I think we should, this is happening right now. I think we should make sure everybody plays at least one of those this year. I
think it'd be so cool.
I think it'll be awesome.
And it would make. I think it would be cool to see maybe some playoff matchups like that.
I'm just thinking for like film day wise. It's just we have half the league. Yo, let's just play. None of us have played our doubles game yet. You know what I mean? We got 5 guys. We could 1 person on commentary. Let's run that doubles game. You know what I mean? That way, instead of sitting here for 2 hours, everybody doing that, it's just like, yo, let's just run this one doubles, and then we could just chill, eat food, and just, you know what I mean? Get that one game done, and then maybe we run like a little mini tournament, film it live on Instagram or something. Right. But like that one, I think making sure everybody has one of those, I think with the full commentary crew, I think those would be probably some of the most entertaining games because 4 teams have a win or a loss on the line.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You have to you there will be some little bit of banter between teammates and stuff
And
like that.
since there's not stopping at 7 goals, each player can technically score 7 goals in the game, with the score being like a 16 to whatever finish, how the Binho Bowl was. So I mean, both teams score more than 10. Each player has at least 5 goals up on the board.
Yeah, the highest goal scorer there can what's it called? I mean, I'm not going to add too many rules, but this just popped into my head. We're not adding this, but just comment if you think it's a cool idea. So the title winner, right, gets to choose who they get to pick. Let's just say the title winner wasn't the highest goal scorer. What if the highest goal scorer gave you like immunity? Like you can't choose the highest goal scorer.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. I think that's just complicating things right now.
But I mean,
though.
that's like, no, I don't know, because like I said, that what if that's like what if that's what they want to do? What if they want to just take out their only threat to a high scoring game and just kill them first round? Nobody else that put up more than 10 this year. I'm taking this guy. He's the only person that put up 12 goals in a game. I'm beating you first round. No. I think keeping them in there, I think they're the highest target outside the last place guy.
I think it's just adding too many rules, honestly. I just thought it's just something that popped into my head.
No, but after you said that, I think like now that once our guys see this clip, I think whoever's the highest scoring person that's not the title winner, I think they will be the highest target.
No, that's a fact. I think if you're a goal scorer, if I'm the title winner, I agree with you. It's like that's who I'm going to try to pick off.
Because in your case, well, in last season's case, it was Lawrence as the title winner, but Sammy at second in goal scored, and then you at third. If he wanted to take off the highest scores, he would just pick you or Sammy,
right,
to make sure that. All right,
and that's the third or the fifth seed right there.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, these guys score the most goals besides me.
Right.
Let's phase one of them now. And that way later, most of my games should be relatively easy compared to my record, what my record says.
Yeah, I think it'll be very, very interesting. Just like this month of tournaments Binho has to offer the whole community. Starting out with May 18th, you have the OKC Regional. $50 entry fee. Hefty fee, but up to a $4,000 cash prize for that winner. That's very, very nice.
That's big time.
That's going to be located at the Social Capital in Oklahoma City. Check them out. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. You can see everything updated on their Instagram. Head over to FC Oklahoma Binho. You will find it. Then, following that up, very next week, May 25th, you have the Binho Board Major Tournament, the Indy 500, happening in Indianapolis, Indiana.
It's the first of the year.
Location at Monkey Duck Pub, Indianapolis, Indiana. You got that. I already think I said that like twice. So a little redundant.
Sure they know.
But follow Binho Board on Instagram for updates and times. That one is sold out, so you will not be able to enter just yet to that one. But be sure to go down. Going to the tournaments is always fun.
Go down for good vibes and good beers.
Great competition, some good entertainment. You're going to meet some great players in the community as
There's
well.
always side matches going on as well, because after the first group stage goes down, the number of boards used drops down by 2 to 3. So then there's 3 boards off to the side that aren't being used, and people who are out of the tournament are now playing just games for fun. So definitely, if you're in town, make sure you check out, go watch the games, go play some games for people that aren't in the tournament anymore.
Meet some people to play with, have some fun, get some beers, get some food, and have a good time.
For sure.
And kicking off the summer in June, you have the Coupe de Canada, June 15th, up in Montreal. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Structure will be very, very similar to how you were describing it earlier. Group stage, everyone's going to get 4 games, then we're moving to the bracket. So, long night of Binho games.
Top 2 clubs in those groups, I mean, they just got to dominate, because once it gets to elimination, that's when the big dogs come out. And it's a dogfight. Everybody wants that ring. Those new Binho rings are very pretty.
And we're going to be competing for that as well, as we have locked in today, the special announcement surprise for you. I locked in both our tickets. Going to try to get some more of our guys from the league to come up with us. We just got to confirm their availability. Excuse me. So we hope to see you there. If you are going, let us know. We want to try to film maybe a tournament the day before.
For sure. We already know Ryan, OKC. We'll link up with you out there. We'll get in contact. All the good stuff. But anybody else, please. It'll be a fun film tournament on YouTube or Instagrams, whatever social medias you guys use for your videos. Post it on everybody's cross collab content. It's definitely fun for everybody's needs. Right before a tournament, just practice.
Yeah, it'd be a cool practice tournament. Get to see some matchups. Maybe some of those guys will see each other in the actual tournament the next day, and
I think
get a little preview to that. So it'll be fun. Great time. I'm excited to be competing in the major again. Someone's got to bring it home for Biñholiga.
I mean, it's my birthday week. I think that's the best birthday gift Binho board can get to me. It's just like that nice gold ring. So I mean, I'll go win that shit.
I was gonna say VC Fermentas, they could add to their hardware and their run this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely amped for it.
All right, so it'll be a good time. We'll see you up in Montreal for sure. Thank you for sticking with us this long. We've given you a lot of updates around the Binho community and the nation, but some other leisure sports and leagues are going on, like the MWL, AWA, and Blitzball World Series. Diego, how about you start us off with some of these
you said
leagues that are starting up?
You said it. The spring is here. That means the spring sports, the summer sports are off. The boys, they're outside playing ball in their backyard, and it's great to see. We all started as kids. They started back in 2009 when we were just in our years, like early years, 9, 10 years old. But now they're sticking to it. Mid-20s, early 20s, running leagues out here. Their MWL has just hosted their 5th annual Midwest Slugfest, which is a tournament for kids of all ages. They have 3 age groups, 10 to 12, 13 to 15, and then a 16 plus, which is for the high school class. And if you were here for episode 1, that was one of the big major talking points, is that youth sports don't do enough for the high school kids after they hit the age of 16. It's like, if you don't have money for travel ball, you're out of sports unless you're on the high school team, which kind of sucks. But these guys, they found their way and they're in their leagues. So if you're around in the Midwest or on the East Coast, join on the internet, jump on the internet, see which league is closest to you. There's a bunch everywhere. Either it's wiffle ball or blitzball, which is a new version of it. They're out there playing, so if you're not on a travel team, after your baseball and for your high school, go up on the wiffle ball field in somebody's backyard.
Or similar to what we did, form our own. Excuse me.
But I mean, back to NWL, outside of their tournament, they had 3 winners though, 2 league winners. So it's good to see leagues going out to other events, just like the Binho community, and winning stuff. Bring some hardware back to home outside of your league cups is always a good bragging rights to other players in your league. Because now the Flamingos out there are the top team in Verona after winning that tournament before their season. So you know what I mean? It's just a good little bragging rights to go with. But their spring training game happened, and it was dominant. Well, the NL team was dominant. They put up 4 homers, 2 grand slams, and won 16-2.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean, slugfest central out there for the NL squad, and it's cool to see them split up for a pre-series, and just split up the leagues to AL and NL, just the All-Star game style before the All-Star game. But I mean, their opening day was this past week, and they were live on Instagram, and their first game actually comes out this Friday. If you're watching this on Thursday that it comes out, May 3rd is their first upload of the season, and it was a good game. Well, a good series. 3-game set like baseball style, college style, where your matchup for the week is a 3-game set against your opponent, and then your next game against your next team will be another 3-game set. They have a few of those. They run all the way down to August, so jump in now, catch the games early. They're still week 2 and 3, so you have a bunch of weeks left. And then over to the AWA, they're already 2 full weeks in if you're watching this weekend. And their weeks cover 2 full 7-day weeks. So they have 8 teams, and each week they go live twice. So there's 2 matchups with 4 teams. And then the following week will be the 4 teams. The following week will be the 4 teams that didn't play the previous Monday or Wednesday. But they're in full swing right now, and I like the way that they run their series. as well. They also run a 3-game set, and it's really good to maximize with the small amount of teams in a baseball style league. If you only have 8 teams, you want to play X amount of games to make sure everybody has double-digit games. Just run a 3-game set against every opponent, and they run pretty smooth. So, I mean, if you want to check out their Instagram live at AWA Wiffle, and then they are also live on YouTube, Twitch, and also a new Twitch stream platform that I just found out about them because of them, caffeine.tv. They stream their games there as well if you don't use Twitch and pay for that subscription platform. But outside of the Blitzball, I gave it away. Outside of the Wiffle Ball is Blitzball World Series, and they're here. And there's a new team, the John Boy Media Warehouse. They have a team representing in the Blitzball World Series as they took their champion, Colin from McFlurry Power, and Lou Dab from the Pinstripe Pride, as they formed the Pinstripe Power Squad. And they actually took home a win in their debut of the World Series, which is great to see. A walk-off win in their first match is great. And the first 3 matches of the World Series, we saw 3 walk-offs. The first 2 were walk-offs in the bottom of the innings, like traditional walk-offs. But in their World Series with 4-player teams, there is a run limit of 6. So in the top of the second of the game for Gainesville versus Murata, Gainesville was up 5 after putting up 5 in the first inning, held their opponent to 1.
Whew.
And then hit a
5 in the first is crazy.
A 3-run bomb to give them an 8-1 victory. So, I mean, there was a bunch of homers and a homer in that game. And then I think the best game of the week was game 2, Como Blitzball versus Swisher Blitzball. Como is the top premier Blitzball league.
Right.
And Swisher Blitzball houses the number 1 Blitzball ranked player. So, Como, they jumped on them. You know, they put up runs off the number 1 pitcher, which kind of threw them off.
They got the W?
They did not. Swisher
No
walked it off as, who was it, Jordan. He put the ball up in the air with runners on base, and 2 errors by the...
Damn.
Yeah, 2 errors got them, and they ran around the bases to win it 3-2. So like I said, the first 3 games of the World Series were entertaining and definitely fun. Make sure you head over to the Blitzball YouTube page to check out all of their games of the World Series. I believe Game 4 should be up by the time this video is out. But the time of this recording, we only have those first 3 matches for you. But I mean, outside of that World Series, the Blitzball community is growing. We have a few teams coming to Como Blitzball, and 1 new member, Colin, as I mentioned, who is a part of the Pinstripe Power, who won the Blitzball Warehouse Battle. The Blitzball Battle in the Warehouse is the number 17th ranked player, and he will be joining the Premier Blitzball League. And they were adding 2 expansion teams. 1 with the current member who was on a previous team. He's now getting his own squad with his own set of guys. And then the number 2 ranked Blitzball player, who I believe was an independent player last season, he's now joining Como with his own squad. The Vipers and the Ducks are now the new 2 squads. So they're added teams, and I believe they're up to 8 out there in Como. So it's a solid league of 8, and the Blitzball community is one to definitely take inspiration from, because they all work together. The Blitzball battles in the Warehouse, they're their own league, but they take players from the Wiffle Ball. They had MWL Wiffle Ball guys. They had Como Blitzball guys. So they do a good job of integrating the whole baseball community on YouTube into the Warehouse. It's good to see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Love it. Can't wait to see some more from a lot of these leagues. And if you're a fan of some other leisure sports, maybe you already have a set of spike ball or round net, if you prefer to call it, and lying around, the spike ball tour series is going on. That's heating up all around. And the reason I'm bringing that up is the International Round Net Federation runs Spike Ball Tour Series, and their goal is to get round net to the Olympics. That way, nations can enter players. And they already have a very, very strong system and basis on being able to do that. So the fact that that's their goal and that they're taking the steps to achieve it, I fully believe that they will get there one day.
Yeah, I mean, their international competition already out there in Europe is heavy. I mean, they have a bunch of countries involved. I believe it's over 20 countries that play in their tournaments, and it's not just in one region. It's not just, like I said, it's not just like Western Europe. It's all of Europe is involved. So it's great to see, and I definitely think it's possible to see them in the Olympics in the next 8 years for sure, because they could either go winter or summer Olympics. Because if it's the winter, they just do the indoor field. There's not really many indoor football fields, soccer fields being used for the Winter Olympics.
It'd also just be cool to see just some like sets and fields dedicated, designed to spike ball that don't have It's kind of like when you play on. For me, I played lacrosse, so when you play on a field that's just dedicated to those lines, it's a blessing because you're like, oh, I don't know. I mean, there's also a curse because you get used to other lines and you use them as markings in your head, but it is kind of a blessing in terms of like, oh, I am not getting fooled by, we're on the blue lines at this school and the gray ones at this one, and they all change colors. It's not like they're universal,
Yeah, that's definitely something that sports that have crossover fields like volleyball and basketball, the volleyball players, I'm sure they get confused sometimes on a new gym where it's like, I don't know what line is what yet until the coach or they run through all the rules for the game. So yeah, it will be very cool to see what line patterns they use, because they do have their chalk and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like how many they could fit into a
preset
soccer field.
The Olympic version of that would look like.
Yeah, cool. I think it was.
The Olympics like to make their things look nice and stuff.
Yeah, because I doubt they would be all touching. I think there would be like walkways, like walk paths in between each field. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that would be really cool.
Viewing areas and whatnot. So
because the way they set up for their live streams at big soccer fields, it's like games lined up relatively close, but they're not border to border. So because the game, it does get wild. You might have to run 10 yards that way, so you can't be right next to a team on that field. So I think there's true potential to come with that.
Games would be kind of fire in like a amphitheater or like Coliseum-esque build.
Yeah.
Where you have rows around them just going up.
I could see them using cricket fields, because the field is huge.
Yeah.
And you could put so many, and the seats go all the way around bowl style.
Mm-hmm.
I think cricket fields are a great setup for them to for the Olympics at least, in that size stadium. Because I mean,
you should pack it with people.
Pack it out, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see when they get there. But the reason I also bring this up is we always talk about something that we just call it the International Binho Association for now. We don't know what it would actually end up becoming, or if it would be a federation, whatnot. But I think the goal of that would be to have a World Cup. That'd be the top goal. Each country has a way of entering their teams, and then that team kind of has like a system where it's like, all right, we're choosing this player to play in singles, or like there's you play a series against a country, so a couple of different players get to play in each series, like pitchers do, where it's like, okay, this is our ace, bro. This is our ace.
Yeah, it could be something like to make you have to play in tournaments to make the national team, or like you have to play in tournaments just so you could get picked for the national team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then from that national team, you have to, like, at each tournament, there's like X amount of games for singles, X amount of games for doubles. So then each player on the team could get 1 or 2 games, you know what I mean, going. I think that would be dope. Just a 2-leg system where it's like the way that the Phoenix Premier League does, where they play 1 game on the green and 1 game on the black. Where it could just be like at those World Cup tournaments, it's like the same thing where it's like, all right, you get to play 2 games minimum. You know what I mean? Double elimination.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you lose your first 2 games, that's it.
Right.
But yeah, that way everybody could get going, and the teams that have 5 singles players and then 10 doubles players, there's 5 games in singles and doubles, so it's runs smooth. So I think filling up those teams would be very fun to see coming.
I think that'd be cool. I think also just a step below that would be to get like an actual pro league built, like just at least in each country. It would be cool to see pro leagues pop up. That way they can kind of be the whether it's the measuring stick for who goes to the Olympics or whatnot. I'm sure there'll be some people who don't go to the pro leagues who end up as Olympic players in both, whether it's spike ball, who is just like, this guy's really good, you guys should get him though, or if it's going to be Binho if we have the World Cup. So I think a Binho World Cup would just be really cool to see around the world. Obviously, is that feasible next year? Probably not. We need to build the infrastructure as a community.
Yeah.
Make sure that it takes the steps to get there, and that's why we presented the scope first. That way, you know where we're aiming for.
And I think
the steps.
I think a great stepping point for this will be the actual World Cup coming to America in 26.
Yeah.
Because there will be a bunch of foreigners here to watch soccer. Like I said, if we go to the stadiums and just go to the tailgates, we need to buy tickets. We just buy parking tickets
and buy boards.
Copa America.
We'll be here to buy boards.
We just go to the Copa America and World Cup games so that people from other countries that don't know what Binho is yet, all the South American countries coming up in the summertime, they just buy a few of the World Cup boards that they have on Etsy, and you know what I mean? Just that way they see their country and they instantly get interested.
And you can get 1 day shipping in the States, so you might as well just order while you're here.
Yeah, so I think...
Bring it back with you.
Or we do that partnership we do the partnership program, you can just buy a board from us, and then that'll be the case there. But I think having the World Cup come here and having a bunch of football fans here in the very near future is going to be a good stepping point for this game to get into those countries without us having to travel to those countries and bring it. You know what I mean? They're already coming here. Let's bring it. Let's give it back with them once they go home.
Right.
Let's send them home with the board inside of a bag to fit in their suitcase.
Like we said, the infrastructure that's already been laid out before we even started doing what we were doing is great. Going to the breweries, going and entering a tournament, that is amazing. We just want to help expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that we do see a World Cup one day, because it is quite a fun, entertaining game. And with that would obviously be college, high school, youth levels, and expand around the majors with nationals, regionals, state, and sectional level tournaments. That way, you can just play, in your county. If you get really good, someone might say, hey, you should go play in, the state tournament.
Yeah, I think
you work your way up the ladder.
I think looking at this right here, I think what we could do is look what the USL, the United Soccer League here, does and how their full system is set up, because they have 8 divisions, but each division plays in a different style.
Right.
So if a Binho club wants to only participate in the regional tournaments, then they'll just follow into this division. You know what I mean?
Right.
After they play in these, then they play in enough, then they technically will contend for national tournaments and then the international tournaments if they want to. You know what I mean? But
That'd be
it's
cool.
That'd
be really cool.
Because the way that soccer competitions are is the Copa America. It's I'm not sorry, not that one. What was the most recent one? I forget, but where it's all the teams, they could compete no matter which division. You know what I mean? The USL Championship teams are facing up against MLS teams and teams from Mexico. So it's kind of falling into a division and then still competing if you want or if you can financially. So it's if you're falling into just a team that plays state competitions but you want to travel to a major, that's totally fine, you know what I mean? Because those are open entries you could buy in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to qualify for regional tournaments, I think something like this will be necessary even for just national competition.
Yeah, and I think we would also want, along with all this, to create, a ranking system, nationally, regionally, state, and sectionally. So I think it would be cool to have all those alongside with it, and I think that would help bring the community together, help it grow stronger.
Yeah. And
this doesn't just have to be in the U.S. If other, like we said, if other countries make their own style, adapt this style, something.
Hey, I mean...
That's how you build the World Cup foundation.
Hey, my cousin's moving out to Puerto Rico soon, so we'll definitely be out there more than we were before. So we might see a Puerto Rico Binho squad coming soon.
There we go. That'd be a great one. Because we're saying in 2025, we would definitely want to start organizing a tournament. just not a World Cup tournament, but just a tournament with the leagues around the nation and the clubs around the nation. That way, we can know months in advance, ahead of time, location and place where we're going to be at meeting and how long we're going to be there. That way, money can be prepped and all that.
For sure. Like if we start planning now, the tournament could be in the fall of 25. So we give everybody a full 15 months to get money ready.
Yeah.
And then travel in August or September to wherever.
Yeah, and then that way we can have, we can have systems and groups that can organize and vote on locations on where tournaments can be at and whatnot. So.
Or even like certain leagues take control of certain aspects to coordinate the event. You know what I mean? If certain people work in the field wherever, it's like, well,
right.
you know people that do this thing.
There's like a host club or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Somebody works in the entertainment business. They'll be like, well, I know how to find event
I can
spaces
get the venue,
quickly.
so
I'll just let me get on this. You guys don't worry about that. Worry about getting tournament entry things get together. And then it's like, all right, this club is doing this.
Just get an entry form together and stuff.
And then obviously Nick and Binho, they'll be like, all right, we'll bring our boards, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. Everybody just make sure you then have other things. Make sure somebody's like, all right, bet. I have a printing business. I'll bring the brackets.
Right.
So it's not one person or one team. It's a link up, everybody just jump on and grab your thing and assign a project. I think that'll be one way to make these things run very smoothly.
I think it would be great to see, and like you said, getting the community together like that will just be able to put the cornerstones in place. That way, we can continue to grow. Sorry, we've been going a while. Thank you for sticking with us, like we said. But forming that and declaring that, I think would be great. Where we can have that first tournament and give us enough planning time. And if we always have, even if it's 9, 10. Or even 6 months in advance. I think 6 is a little short for national tournaments or stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. 6 months is more regional state. Like I can drive to it. Yeah, that's not terrible. I can come back in the day.
Yeah.
State. Yeah, you could tell me probably in 3 months I'll be there. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we fell into with Indy and Montreal, where it's like Montreal's only 5.5 hours for us, where Indy's like, okay, we really gotta go on a little bit more of a road trip.
That's a half a day just being in the car.
Yeah, so that one we weren't able to get out to, but we will be at the Montreal major, and like we said, I think a lot of pressure is put on Binho board themselves to do this, and I think one major point is that the International Round Net Federation, the reason I brought them up first is that they are separate from Spikeball themselves. That way it keeps the pressure of like, I don't have to always host the tournament. So if the majors stay the way they are, and even if they evolve and they have developed, there's no problem with that. But if they stay, that would be great, because then we'll just have more tournaments.
Yeah.
And if Binho board works hand in hand with, I don't know if this would end up turning into its own organization. I think it should. That way it can just focus on the community hosting tournaments.
Yeah, and I think the way that the organization will work is that whenever a league hosts a tournament, they'll just be the central hub for all the information. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
sending stats, reporting games.
Yeah, just so like when there's a major a tournament out in New York, it's posted there. But then you'll also know that it's either the Biñholiga tournament or it's New York Binho Club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based off of either the graphics or just location info, whatever, etc.
Yeah, because I think something the RoundNet organizations do well is that. The reason I call them organizations is that they literally are exactly that. They have, full-blown websites. You can register, you can donate, you can do all that right there. You can see the members who are, who you need to contact. So it's a lot more organization, a lot more coordination.
Yeah, there's a lot of checklists that need to be.
But you can see what they're getting out of it.
Yeah.
So
like I said, there's a lot of checklists that you need to follow these steps to qualify and then do this, and they do it, so it's not like it's too much to ask for. because it's not even just college kids doing it. I mean, if you could get a bunch of college kids to do it, I mean, shit, that's even better because they don't listen to people with authority. So,
yeah, and high school kids will do exactly what college kids do, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I think the way that they have it set up, where it's any college or club, they could ask, or they could, I guess, request to have their tournament put on their schedule on the tour series, and then whenever you see on the challenger schedule it have a little logo that's not the spike ball logo, that is a round net organization, and then that's their tournament. As the Long Island Biñholiga had their tournament, that would have been the graphic for that date, instead of everybody reposting that. Instead of everybody posting that, it's just everybody reposting from that one central place, just reposting that schedule. So I think if we all create a group chat or a channel on Instagram or something as just a starting point, outside of Facebook, I don't know if everybody still uses Facebook, but all the community is on Instagram.
Right.
I think that's a good way to get some of these checkpoints hit.
Yeah, we need to get something that way. Like we said, if we can get a tournament together where all the leagues can come to, like I said, around the majors. That way, there's 4 majors, and at least now that's a 5th tournament every year.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's pretty cool. And then from that 5th tournament, you get trickle down from there, because each club that goes there essentially hosts tournaments themselves and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
as like your practice tournaments for the big tournaments coming on. So
getting more players to travel to those tournaments and to the majors that are close to them.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely doable. I think take it from us, who last fall went to our first tournament, and after that traveled across the country. 2 months later for another major. So it's definitely doable. People will do it. You just gotta give them a reason to believe in it, and we gotta organize it and make it happen.
For sure. And I think everybody's mature enough and grown enough to do so. So it just takes some coordination.
Yeah, and like I said, we're examples of, we don't always have the money to do it, but the community will come together. We'll make it happen. Like you said, people will have printing business where they can, print the brackets and this and that. So everyone will have a way of chipping in, and it'll get all get organized. When I say we, I mean the entire Binho community, not just we here. All of us, all you watching, listening. Thank you for tuning in. We've been going a while here on the 2nd episode, and if you've stuck with us this whole time, thank you very much. We appreciate your love and continued support for the PS2 podcast, Biñholiga, and all of our business adventures. So thank you very much. Be sure to subscribe, like this podcast, follow us over on Instagram, join the Binho community page, like our Biñholiga page on Facebook as well, and you can find us over here again. June 3rd, season 3 will begin streaming. If you need some preseason action, or if you just watched the Commentator Cup, I recommend watching seasons 1 and 2, because those have some great action.
The energy in there is great. And if you're still here, comment Tournament Tote, and you will get half off on your purchase of your first bag if you're here to this last second of the episode. But until next time, I'm Diego.
My name is Hayden.
Peace.